Sarcasm and irony.
Before we dive into the different types of irony and sarcasm, we must first understand what irony is. It's a figure of speech used to describe the opposite of what the writer or speaker intends. People will use it to express their disbelief with a bit of humor to lighten the mood.
Our first subcategory of irony is situational irony. It is an inconsistency between what is expected and what the actual results are, purely based on a situation. In the movie Silence of the Lambs, they display a good use of situational irony. Hannibal Lecter is a cannibal who the FBI turns to in order to find a murderer. It is ironic that the good guys turn to the biggest evil to find another evil. Situational irony makes plot twists more interesting, and it allows for the writer to show how their characters react in unexpected situations. Think of your story and lay it out in a quick draft. With that draft, you can go about finding ways to include unexpected situations,
there is verbal
creating
irony.
situational
It is to say
irony.
the opposite of what someone truly intends or what is true. It is spoken and not about a situation. A good example of this can be found in the story The Cast of Amontillado. The antagonist mentions to the protagonist that his health is precious, even though he will be responsible for his demise. The purpose of this is to show the reader the personality and intention of the characters in question. Including dialogue in your text creates an opportunity for verbal irony.
Furthermore,
Simply
we
write
have
the
dramatic
opposite
irony.
of what a character's intentions
This is when
are.
a character does not know an important piece of the story that the reader does. A good example of this is Romeo and Juliet. In the prologue of the story, we find out that both Romeo and Juliet will take their lives. Of course, they are unaware of this information as they are living through it as we read. In literature, its purpose is to create suspense and a desire to understand the way a character falls into an obvious trap. It is very captivating for us readers. Great ways to include dramatic irony in your writing are to use cutscenes or prologues. By showing the reader a scene that is separate from the information the characters know,
Sarcasm is our second topic.
including
It is to pass
dramatic
remarks without
irony
being
and will
direct.
create the effects
People saying the
discussed.
opposite of what is truly intended is the use of irony in sarcasm. Many different subcategories exist for this figure of speech. Juvenile sarcasm is used to say remarks that people will typically find annoying. When you finally figure something out that is blatantly laid out, someone could say, "No way, Sherlock," annoying and rude. There's self-deprecating sarcasm, where people poke fun at themselves in their sarcastic way. "I'm so terrible at this sport," said after winning the first place trophy, is self-deprecating sarcasm.
Brooding sarcasm is when someone says the opposite of what they mean whilst irritated. "You did an amazing job salting the driveway," could be said after slipping trying to get to school. These little comments can be funny yet hurtful. Deadpan is the final type. It uses sarcasm in a serious situation with a serious tone. You are at your grandmother's funeral and say, "I wish that was me." It will create tension with the people around you. The act of jokingly making fun of someone is banter and not sarcasm. It does use sarcasm, but it is not a type of sarcasm.
A lot of people will find sarcasm to be rude or a way to deride something, but there are many other ways to interpret this figure of speech. Individuals will use sarcasm as a tool to make others laugh or to simply lighten the mood. The use of sarcasm in a negative way is the latter. Many will find that the different sarcasms are tools to ridicule or mock people, creating discomfort. The final way of interpreting sarcasm is seriously. On multiple occasions, sarcastic remarks said for humorous purposes were taken seriously. This caused a lot of confusion and chaos, so it is important to be careful in how we use this figure of speech, to make sure people understand our true intentions. In literature, sarcasm's effects are similar. We have the humorous effect, which we already discussed, the variety effect, which is to simply create variety in our texts, and the final way is to hook readers into wanting the character to be redeemed.
Ways to include sarcasm in your daily vocabulary are to write or say unnecessary comments in accordance with the type of sarcasm you want to include. This is a quote explaining the differences between these two figures of speech. Basically, sarcasm has to have intention and meaning, but irony can be solely about a situation. No intentions involved.
Here are a few exercises to help deepen your comprehension of the types of sarcasm and irony discussed today. It is a true or false.
True or false? Situational irony is used in dialogue. This is false. Verbal irony is used in dialogue, and situational irony is about a situation, not spoken.
True or false? Sarcasm is only used to make mean remarks towards someone else. This is false. It has many other purposes like making fun of yourself or saying the opposite of what you mean when irritated, etc. True or false? Verbal irony is used to say the opposite of what someone means or what is true. This is true.
True or false? Dramatic irony is used to create suspense and can only be used if there are characters. This is true because the reader has to know something the characters do not. Thank you.